Kevin's a graduate of UCSD where he studied biochemistry and cell biology. He then came to DMS where he's completed his PhD thesis in the laboratory of Dr. John Kagan at the Children's Hospital. His thesis work on toll-like receptors resulted in a major publication that's had a huge impact in the field. In addition to Kevin's research work, he's taught extensively at HMS, Harvard College, and Emerson College. In addition, he's been a leader in communicating science to the general public through his many lectures in science in the news, his Scientific American blog, and his many other internet postings. Kevin is a model student and just a wonderful human being. And so I'm going to turn over the podium to Kevin now.
Thank you, Dean Cardozo, for that very kind introduction, and thank you to the members of the faculty for selecting me for the honor of speaking to you today. If you were at morning exercises today, you heard grand and stirring pronouncements about the promise of the graduating class, about the difference we can make, and about how we can change the world. But those speeches were for the undergrads. To be honest, 8 years out from my undergraduate degree, after 6 years of work for this PhD, my heart doesn't remember the unguarded optimism that would let me envision making the same mark on history as General Washington, or the revolutionary spirit that young woman spoke of this morning, that lets her believe that every one of the thousands of people receiving their degrees today could initiate our own Harvard Spring. Maybe it's just me feeling jaded, but when I looked around at others wearing these crimson robes, I saw a lot of people that looked like I felt. The speeches were stirring, yes. Inspirational, sure. But they seem to ignore a fundamental truth that all of us being celebrated here today have been confronted with day in and day out for the last many years. That our success does not come easy. Progress is not quick, and no project worth doing, or worth embarking on, is ever really finished. Some of us may still conjure up revolutionary thoughts or ambitious schemes late at night. Some of us may get animated over esoteric arguments, maybe over 1 or 2 pints at Penguin, maybe over 5 pints at Penguin. But the next morning, we awaken from our dreaming, put our heads down, and get to work. Dreams are fine, but if graduate school has taught us anything, it's that they are not enough. And yet, though we know that our success does not come easy, please make no mistake, you are elite. This morning, we received the highest degree attainable from one of the most prestigious universities in the world, but that's not what makes us elite. It also wasn't the handshake from the chair of your defense committee, though it seemed important because that's when everyone started to call you doctor. It's also not the hoods that we will receive today. And it's not just some inbred talent or intelligence that sets you apart. Sure, you're all smart, but there are a lot of smart people. It's your dedication and perseverance and your hard work in the face of sometimes crippling failure that makes you elite. I don't think anyone here that knows me would ever accuse me of an overabundance of humility. Some may even consider me arrogant. And yet, when I consider those of you that I've come to know over the last 6 years, I'm truly, profoundly humbled by you. And I promise you that these are not just the empty platitudes that you would expect at a commencement speech. At some point over the last 6 years, I was introduced to the concept of dividing activities into 3 different types of fun. Type 1 fun is the sort of thing that's fun to plan and fun in the moment. An easy hike in perfect weather, or a rolling 5-foot swell with an offshore breeze. There were plenty of moments of Type 1 fun associated with my time in grad school, though these were mostly after I'd left the lab. And most of these experiences happened with at least one person in this room. Most people don't spend a lot of time telling stories about Type 1 fun. There's no conflict, nothing to motivate the telling. It's just nice. Type 2 fun is a bit different. Type 2 involves unplanned pain and suffering. It's an experience you thought would be fun, but takes an unexpected turn. When it starts raining on that perfect hike and you have to slog back to the car in the mud, or when a gust of wind blows out your sail in the middle of the lake and you have to paddle back to shore. When you persevere in the face of this adversity, the experience becomes fun in the retelling. I've had plenty of type 2 fun in the lab. Late nights that end in tubes spilled all over the floor, or months-long experiments that return no usable data. These moments hurt, but we can tell the stories to each other and expect sympathy and understanding, or a good laugh, or if we're really lucky, we'll be treated to a tale even more harrowing than our own. All of us are now in a position of looking back on the sum of our graduate experience. And I don't know anyone that would describe it as type 1 fun, where everything was easy. Sorry. Maybe for some of you, the sum of grad school was type 2 fun. Some pain, some moments of despair, but nevertheless, a fond recollection and certainty that it was the right thing to do. For me, and I suspect for a lot of you, graduate school was type 3 fun. When you're planning to embark on a type 3 experience, you're not necessarily expecting it to be fun. In fact, you expect pain, you expect danger, and you expect you'll feel moments of despair. It's probably unclear to others why you would choose to risk it, and it may even be unclear to yourself. But you know you have to do it. In the end, if you manage to make it through, you may never know if it was the right thing to do, but you'll almost certainly be profoundly changed by the experience. But because we're not romantics or revolutionaries, whether or not we reflect on this at all today, we'll still take off these robes tonight and wake up tomorrow and go back into lab, or into an office at a law firm or a consultancy, or into a classroom. And we'll keep working at whatever it is that we're applying ourselves to at this moment. And we'll make progress, but not in giant leaps, in small, methodical steps. The world is too big, too complex, for any one person to intentionally change on their own. But with all of us, and all of those who, like us, struggle and strive to put just one foot in front of the other, we'll change it whether we intend to or not. Thank you.